is there any significant moment that it was kind of like very tough to do it, but you guys have to do it?
It was when Aisha's brother passed away. It was the hardest moment of my life on radio. So I tell my partner, okay, look, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sit in the computer. I'm just going to hit refresh. I was like, this was my finger the whole time. Tuck, 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 tuck. F5. F5 is for refresh, right? We're just keep on hitting refresh. And from 6:40 to 7:40, we had to be the happiest people on air because the show must go on.
This is Shock Life Confessions podcast with me, Reza Abraham. Our guest today is a Malaysian radio host, TV host, music DJ, and MC. And for those of you who are the fan of the Mixed Breakfast, you, along with the thousands of others, must have heard his voice and had a smile brought to your face by his comments, contagious laughter, and the perfect choices of music from 90s and now. From starting out as a Hitstar FM cruiser to getting a long weekend slot on the radio to entering the world of radio announcing. So let's welcome the KL's first superhero, Prem Shanker, a.k.a. Premo Supremo.
Yes, I love it. What an intro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. It's an honor being here.
Oh, it's
I've been waiting, and finally the invite arrived.
Nice.
Yes, I'm a fan of the show.
Okay.
I do listen to, every now and then I do listen to your show, so thank you for having me.
Same here.
Yes,
We
right.
always listen to your nice, the stuff that you do in the morning.
Yeah.
It's always great. So where does this Premo Supremo come from?
I was thinking it started off as a joke, really. I was always into branding and marketing. I like that. I like the idea of creating something that people will remember you by.
That's right.
And to be absolutely honest, my name's Prem. Prem's a very common name, especially if you're Indian. So I was thinking, how would I make myself different when I dabble into the entertainment industry? Because you've always got to be remembered for something. And I took a leaf out of one of Malaysia's veteran singers. I don't know if I should call him veteran. He'd probably get upset with me. But Resh Monu. Resh Monu. You remember Resh Monu?
No.
Well, he's a great singer, a close friend of mine. Now, people remembered Resh not only for his amazing vocal abilities, but his hair. He had amazing hair all the time. He had dreadlocks back then. It was always colored dreadlocks. And people would always remember him by that. And that was a good branding exercise. It's always top of mind.
Yeah.
So
something people remember you for, right?
Yes, absolutely. So when I got into this industry, I was thinking, how would people remember me by? What is the persona that I'm going to create? How am I going to do this if I was going to do it for a long time. And I think there was this cartoon. I think there was this cartoon called Timo Supremo.
Oh, yeah. Captain Cradle.
Yeah. Oh, see, there you go. See?
This is our generation.
Now you'll always remember
20 years ago.
So I said, hey, just go out there, create Premo Supremo, and see what comes out of it. And the profile you read was actually written by a copywriter friend of mine.
Oh,
it was really good with words. So I said, "Hey, bro, could you write me a profile?" And he said, "Okay, let's make you KL's first superhero."
Yeah. I like that. I like
right.
That. Yeah,
I thought it was a good play. It's cheeky, and it's worked ever since.
So have you achieved that? Are you
KL's first superhero? I would like to think yes.
So where was the last building you jumped from?
It depends on what time of the day and how much I've had to. Yeah, we'll not put that actually. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what is your story, Prem? Like, where did you born? And then what's your story of becoming who you become?
Proud to be a Klangite, Klangon, however people want to call us. I was born in Klang.
Yeah.
Just a few years ago, really. Yes, born and bred in Klang. Lived in Klang for the longest time of my life. I only recently, maybe in the last decade, decided to move out to Kuala Lumpur. I was just very comfortable living in Klang. I was also very fortunate to be living with my parents. So, hey, laundry is done for free. You get dinner cooked for you.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
It was the best times of my life. So yeah, I was born in Klang. I went to school in Klang. I studied in a government school. So I went to ACS Klang. We had primary and secondary. And then I went to uni twice, and I dropped out of college twice.
Wow.
Because that's when I actually kind of dabbled into the radio industry. I kind of just fell into it by accident. And I only recently, at this age, graduated. I went back to college at the age of 37.
What was the first two that you went on and
So
continue?
the first ever degree that I wanted to do was information technology. And this is because my dad is an IT guy. He's been in the industry for a while. And I just wanted to get closer to him. So I thought by studying a degree, then I could have good communication with him, like good talks with him. But that was a bad idea. For my personality, sitting down, learning coding was the worst thing ever. So yeah, I dropped out very quickly. And then I went to work part-time, as any dropout would do.
Yep.
And then I went to college again. And this time I went to do mass comm, which is, again, suited for my personality. And I realized that I had a lot of love for the entertainment industry. And then I dropped out midway because that's when I fell into the radio industry by accident. And as a young teenager, when you start seeing money, although it's small money, but you're earning, and then you feel like you're the richest person in the world, even though it's a mere 1,000 ringgit, and you're like, yeah, I own the world. I'm going to buy the world tomorrow. Bad advice. I stopped studying because I saw money, and that was it. The rest is history. And then on, I just went from, I guess I would like to say, strength to strength in the entertainment industry. Yeah.
So just now you mentioned that you went for this information technology because you wanted to have a better communication with your dad, right? Why was it so important? What was the issue there?
Great question. So my dad is a man of few words. He's a very practical man. He's he shows a lot of love. He's more of a doer. And I am a talker. I like to talk. And I had that relationship with my mom. We'd sit down and chat for hours. But I also wanted the same relationship with my dad. So I didn't know how to break that boundary. But also my dad had worked a lot. My mom was not single mom, my God, sorry. My mom was a housewife. She was a homemaker. That's right. So obviously I spent more time with my mom and she had done everything. But, over the years as you grow older, and then you're a teenage son. And, as boys, we kind of grow apart from our father because we tend to take the role as man of the house eventually. So I felt a bit of distance growing with my dad. And then it grew and grew and grew. And then, you have your own friends. You've got your own thing going on. So, I just wanted to, I guess, hang out with my dad a lot more, have more chats with him, and also seeing some of my friends who had very good relationships with their dad. I'm not saying my relationship with my dad was bad. It's just that we didn't speak as much. So when I went to a friend's house and I saw their bond, I was, I don't know, jealous? Was it? I would be, maybe jealous. Maybe I missed that with my dad. So that's why I did the degree, which I did not even do, actually.
Yeah.
Funny story. Yeah.
Yeah. So how things has changed?
Things have definitely changed now. I mean, we're both adults. Obviously, my dad I'm an adult now. Things have gotten way, way better. I guess because I'm not as rebellious as I used to be. And now we have chats about a lot of adult things. I remember as I was growing up and already earning my own money, I still would consult my dad if I was going to buy something of a big purchase, like if I was going to buy a car. I would ask my dad, and he would frown. My dad's also he's very strict with money. Yeah, he's always saving money, and it's like, do you really need this car? And then I'd ask myself, this is my money. I'm earning it. Why am I asking you for your advice? Yes. But I guess it's just that conversation that I wanted to have. Yeah. Sometimes it would lead to frustration because actually what I was looking for was validation. Like, call my dad and say, I'm buying this car, and what I wanted to hear from him was like, yeah, it's a good car. Yeah, Instead, I would get like, why? Do you need another car? Your car's perfectly fine. It gets you from A to B. Why do you need a car? Why? And I'm like, I would get so frustrated. But eventually he would say, it's your money now. Do the math. He would always remind me about finances. Do the math. Make sure you've got your calculation proper. Don't just buy something and then end up not paying for it, whatever. So yeah.
What did you show that do you think you gained his trust?
I guess. Yeah. I did gain his trust, and now he doesn't frown with the purchases I do. He's very supportive these days. Yeah. Okay. So recently, I had purchased a number plate. I don't know if you if you, it's a funny story.
Go for it. Go for it.
You know, in Malaysia, you see people buying numbers.
Yes,
It's a thing, right?
Yeah, I think everywhere is the same. Like different countries also they do the same thing.
Yeah, especially but here in Malaysia, you know, it can go up to lots of money if you want like a. So recently, and this is something I've been waiting for all my life since I was a child. And Penang had recently launched their number, which is PRE.
Oh,
Right. Now, if you put, it looks like a Prem.
yeah.
So
Yes,
yeah. So, but
Yeah,
I managed.
You just need to make sure the digit become a bit closer.
Oh no, that's illegal.
They can do that.
yeah, but you know, we're not promoting anything wrong here. But and I'm like, this is it. You know, this is just what I've always
This is
wanted.
your moment.
This is my moment.
Yeah.
And literally, this is once in a lifetime because that number's never going to come around again. So you know, it was just meant to be, right? And I was like, I need this number.
Okay.
So I didn't tell my dad though.
No worries.
I
We will
got it.
send this recording to him.
I got it. I bought it, and then I told him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. So, what was his reaction?
His reaction, I think my dad's also trying to change these days, right? I think he realizes that he's always the first reaction to come out of him when it comes to money is always frustration. Again, he's got a good habit of saving money, so anything going out, it's a bit of a
Yes.
do you really need these things in life? So I bought it, and then and when I told him, I say, hey, look, you know, again, I don't know why I told him, but I just guess it's a father-son thing. So I told him, I said, Pa, hey, I bought my number, and he was like, oh, cool. How much you get it for? And then I said the value, and his first reaction was, and I could hear it.
The volcano there.
I could hear it on the phone that he's like, oh, okay, good. I'm happy for you as long as you're happy. And I very quickly, thank you very much. Put the phone down. But yeah, I guess these conversations. I think he also realizes, it's
You reach your level of maturity, so you make a decision for something that you love.
Yeah. Although some people may say like, really, you spend money on a number plate, but you and I may have the same thought. Like it's a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
It's an identity.
Yeah.
It's
I vouch for it.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that, Dr. Reza. Validation. I needed that.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, when did you know in your life that communication is your thing? That's something that you want to do for life.
So I never knew actually, but my mom always told me this. I was that kid in school. I think I recently, I spoke to 2 or 3 doctors, and I have been diagnosed with ADHD. Oh. But not I'm not the terrible ADHD. It's just that my mind's constantly working with creative. So my mom, and now it makes sense because my mom always told me ever since I was a child, I could never sit still in class. I was always that child who's running around.
Yep.
But I was always, according to my mom, this is not me, this is her story, that I was always helping my friends, helping the other kids do their homework. Like I'd do my homework first and go and help them do their homework. So the teachers would say, yes, it's a nice gesture, but he's doing somebody else's homework. And the teachers would say that he can never stop talking. Like now, I do apologize for not giving you space
We're
to talk.
enjoying it. This is yours. Let's go ahead.
So, and then I guess, and my friends told me this, that I was always the life of the party. I had, again, I'm not saying this, I don't want to sound like I'm pushing myself up in the air, but my friends told me that I have this ability to change the energy in the room when I walk in. Like I'm going there and like, what's up? And everybody's hey, and the party begins. And growing up, I don't know why, but I just, without realizing, dabbled into acting. Like I remember when I was in Standard 6, they had a play called King Lear from Shakespeare, and I had taken part in it. And now it makes sense. Like, okay, I wasn't shy. I just went ahead and did it. I then also enjoyed choral speaking. Do you remember back then in school we had choral speaking?
Yep.
So I did a lot of social, school stuff that eventually led to this. But the first time I picked up my mic, I was in uni, the second uni that I went to, and they needed an MC. I had no idea what an MC does or whatever. They said, look, you just pick up the mic and you announce this. We'll give you a piece of paper, and all you need to do is, okay, now we have Dr. Reza at 2:00. Okay, then you say, thank you to Dr. Reza, and then you bring on the next guest. I'm like, oh, that sounds easy. Sure, no problem. Let me do it. And that was the start. that was the start of my emceeing
Does it
career.
came naturally to you?
Yeah, it just felt like the mic was part of me. And then it just went on. And then how I fell into the radio industry was because one day we were all sitting down, and a friend of mine had found out there was a vacancy for the Hits Cruises. Again, back then there was no social media, so we're talking about word of mouth.
Yep.
And my friend turns to me and says, "Look, you know what? You can never shut up. You're always talking. How about you use your mouth and make some money?" I'm like, "Bro, tell me more."
Yeah.
He's like, "Look, there's this radio thing where you just have to go out and meet people." I'm like, "Wow, okay, meeting people, I love it. You get to talk to people." I'm like, "Tell me more." And you get paid. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm in." So I then rang the radio station and found out there was a mutual connection of the guy who was hiring. So I sent in my resume, but I also called my friend, the mutual friend, and said, "Hey, can you call Dr. Reza and tell Dr. Reza that I've passed him my resume?" So, just to strengthen it.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it for you." And this was in 2004, exactly 20 years ago.
Wow.
I started in the radio industry.
Wow.
With the Hits Cruisers. I worked there for 2 years. And then I got a weekend slot at Hits on the radio. And then I moved to our competitor in 2007. Early 2007, January 16, 2007, I first went on air with the competitor. For 8 years, I was there. But in that 8 years, I had also joined TV. I had done the show called the 8TV Quickie. It doesn't exist anymore, so we can talk about it. And this is where I name drop because I'm very proud. One of my co-hosts was actually Henry Golding. So it was me, Henry, on the same couch. I had some friends, Zer from Hits was there. That was my time on TV. And then I got into a bit of acting, so I acted in a few dramas. And then I had come back to Astro in 2014.
Nice.
It's been 10 years.
A decade.
Yeah, a decade in Astro. So yeah, 20 years. Exactly 20 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, in the world of advertisement, media, and all those stuff, right? So obviously you meet up with a lot of like these hyper people. you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there is this very famous book by the name of Mindset from Carol Dweck.
Okay.
That she talk about like, the two group of people, what they call as the growth mindset, fixed mindset. So fixed mindset people, they always believe that, any talent that you have basically is kind of like an inborn, which means that you're born like that. So you are like really good at it. And then there's the growth mindset people that they say like, no matter where you are, no matter how you're born, you can always develop those skill set. You can always develop those talents, right? So some of the people that we spoke with them in the past 2 seasons. Like, for example, we spoke to Douglas Lim, we talked to like Harith Iskandar, and then a couple of other peoples as well. Like, so these are the people that actually on the outside, when you see them on the stage, they are like really, really hyper. They can actually make really nice jokes. But then once the camera is off, you can see like, the introvert come out. I am one of those guys too.
Right.
I am generally, I'm a very, very quiet person.
Okay.
So based on what you're describing is that off the camera, on the camera, you're kind of like a hyper guy. Is that like that or no? You also have a quiet side of you.
A very small percentage of a quiet side. There are days and times where I would like to be alone, but when I drive home in my car, that's my silent moment for me. Or when I'm riding my bike these days, that's my silent moment, right?
So what do you do in your silent moment?
Think
about what?
Life in general. My mind, again, because I guess now that I've been told that because of my ADHD-ness, my mind travels everywhere and different words trigger different thoughts. Like I can be thinking about food right now, but something else, and then I would think of from food, then you go to hot dog, then I'm like, okay, how do we start a hot dog business? And then my mind just goes all over the place. And then I have to consciously bring it back. But yeah, I think that's my silent moment. But to answer your question, Doc, I think I am who I am 90% of the time. Maybe a small 10% is where I am quiet. The only things that I don't do these days is I don't like going out as much anymore. I'd rather sit home, but still that involves a social element. So back then, if you asked me, I'd say, hey, let's catch up for a drink. I'll meet you at this wherever, right? Or a mama or whatever. Now I'd say, Doc, come over to my house.
When that change happened?
I don't know. Maybe when the price changed. Inflation, eating outside's not cheap anymore. No, I think that changed when I also realized that because I get easily distracted, I cannot pay attention, right? So I also felt that in order to respect my guest or my friend, I'd rather be in somewhere where I can just look at you. This is a great situation to be in because it's me and you.
Yeah.
Although we've got our team here. But if this podcast was elsewhere, you would lose me in 30 seconds. So I'm like, oh, look, Doc Squirrel. Oh.
You just walk away.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, look at this big thing right here. Oh, what's that? But I think as I aged, I just wanted to spend more quality time in a safe space.
Yeah.
So I'd always invite. I love cooking, by the way, and that's a form of therapy for me. I love cooking. I love cleaning. So as I cook and cut, I'm cleaning and I'm cooking. It's like a dance that I do, and I feel so therapeutic. It's like, I just go into Zen mode. And then when I serve you my food and I see you enjoying my food, that's like, I guess that's my love language, just to give. And yeah.
Yeah. Do you listen to your own stuff?
No, I don't. I probably will not even listen to this episode.
No, I mean,
confession, right? This is a confession, right? This is. Yeah, no, I don't know why. I still find it difficult listening to myself. If I was told I had done something wrong, then I'll go and listen because I'm competitive, right? And if my boss says, "Oh, you said this on air," I'm like, "No, I did not." Then I'll go listen. Just to prove a point.
So how do you grow? Like, what is your mechanism to get better?
Okay, great question. I love that. So on radio, we've got this thing called air checks. This is where you're forced to listen to yourself, unfortunately. Our recordings of our show, we would then listen to it. But because as talents, we think we're giving our best all the time. So we would put a third person or a fourth person in the room. So it's normally our boss, who's called the content manager. Now, the content manager would be there, and we'd have someone additional. It could be our music director. And then we would sit down and listen to the show, but just very random parts of the show. So we would normally get questioned like, okay, what do you think was your best hour today, and which was your best part? So we would say, okay. Today at 8:00. Oh my God, we had a kick behind. I'm censoring myself. We had a kick behind show at 8:20. So the boss was like, okay, let's listen to 8:20. Then they go on the computer, they pull out that audio file, and then we take a listen to it. And then we start listening from a listener point of view, and also from a very technical point of view.
Yeah.
So from a listener point of view would be, let's just say we've got one of our team members, Aisha, here. So we'd get Aisha to listen to it and ask her what she thought about it and be honest about it. So if she would come back and say, oh, that was too long, I was lost halfway during the conversation. Okay, great. Thank you very much for that feedback. And then we would listen from a technical point of view. Why did we lose her in 3 minutes? Okay, so then we dissect it further.
Nice.
Okay, Reza, maybe you talk too long, but it's very open, honest conversation. Even though we're teammates, I would turn to you and say, Reza, you shouldn't have said that. You could have come in earlier. You could have cut out earlier, and vice versa. My partners would tell me, that joke was not. We already had a joke. Why did you have to come in with another joke? Right. So that's how we grow as a team, as a person. I would know the next time I go on air. Okay, so we've already found the punchline.
Yep.
We just have to go up. As in, we end the segment, we end the conversation. Sometimes I feel like I'm not putting enough. That's why I overcompensate with another joke, but actually it's not even necessary.
So you, Aisha, and Rod,
RD.
RD. Yes.
Rod was our previous partner.
Yes, RD. So you guys basically are with each other for how many years now?
Okay, so RD is new to the team. He joined us this is his third year because we just signed our new contract. So yeah, his third year. Aisha and I, wow, our relationship has spanned over many years. We've been friends for a long time because Aisha and I are industry mates. But our friendship on the show, we've been together for 9 years. Yeah, we've been through it all.
So how do you guys complement one another? Like, what is, for example, your superpower? What is Ardi's superpower? What is Aisha's superpower that bring you guys together and be able to do this amazing job that you guys doing?
Chemistry plays a very big role, super huge. And I would like to think, actually, no, you know what? I don't think it. I know it. We sit down and we have real conversations with each other, like brutal, honest conversations. I don't know if other teams do it. So when you build a friendship, I know where I can poke you and where I should stop. So that means I know your boundaries, right?
How did you figure that out?
We hung out. We hang out a lot. Like every new team, and I say this to other teams that are put together, a new team, I will always say, you guys need to hang out. You guys need to hang out. Don't just hang out at work. You need to hang out of work. Because you see, when you're surrounded by these 4 walls or these 8 walls in the office, you are bound by certain rules and your aura is different. But when you go outside, you see the real you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I can get the real stories out of you. Even now on the mic, we're kind of like, you know, we're thinking, what can we say? What can we not say?
Yeah,
if you take away this mic and I'm outside with you, you know, everything I say cannot go on this show because I'll be cursing all, you know what I'm saying? But that shows the personality. So when we go out and hung out a lot, we learned about each other a lot, from family to personal relationships to friendship to even handling finances. I can tell you exactly what Aisha likes to spend on and how much she would spend on. You put me through a test and I will ace it. Vice versa, Aisha will ace it too. But this is just years and years of hanging out. We've even been on holidays together. Like, I always promote that. I'm like, look, when's your holiday? She's like, okay, so I've got to take the kids to school holidays at this point. I'm like, you know what? I will plan my holiday around you. Do you mind if I come on a family holiday? She's like, of course, come on. They love Uncle Prem. So Uncle Prem now goes and hangs out with the 2 kids. So I've not only built a bond with Aisha, but I've built a bond with her husband, with her kids. Therefore, that gives me the permission to take the conversation to the next level. Right? So I hope that answers your question. I could go on air today and call Aisha's kids, oh my God, those kids. I could say it in that tone, but it's not an insult. Because Aisha like, yeah, oh my God, you know?
So how did you find that out? Like, you know, for example, I'm sure, like, you should also know how to communicate with them. Because communication with a colleague obviously is something that it's really, really is a hallmark of developing a high-performing team.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you can actually work very well with each other. So what is, for example, like if I ask you, like, what is not acceptable to Ardi or what is not acceptable to Aisha? How do you describe that?
By asking her the questions. Or another way of finding out is by apologizing. So we learned each other throughout the years, right? So I'm the chucho api. I will poke you in different ways, but this is because I already know. But I will also look at you. As I'm poking you, I will see your face change. And the moment the mic goes off, I'll be like, Reza, did I say something wrong? And this is where I would expect you to be at your most honest and say, yes, actually, I didn't like that you said that.
What if the person does not do that? Like some people actually,
I would probe. Then I would probe because I want to know where, if I had done something wrong, I will be accountable for it. I would say, sorry, I did not know that offended you. But moving forward, I will not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can see it in your face. I mean, look, our face is our biggest lie, right?
Yeah.
And you can say, no, I'm not upset. But I'm like, Reza, look at your face. You look like the world just ended. So please tell me. And if you tell me, then at least I know not to do it. Because the next time, I don't want this to burst. It's going to be worse. But this is my job. It's my job to poke you. And if I can't, then you're not allowing me to do my job. And this team is going to go down. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Because that's exactly what we actually explain. Like, you know, when you want to build a good team, it all starts with trust. Right? So trust, basically, most people are always thinking about like functional trust, meaning that do you know how to do your job or not, right? But that doesn't build a good team. They said the good team is based on what they call it as a vulnerability-based trust. It means that when people actually can become vulnerable, apologize, admit their mistake, be open to their feeling, and just share what you think. So then the next step is that when you become fine with disagreeing and having a conflict with each other,
Yeah.
In fact, they say the disagreement and conflict, if you keep it to yourself, it turns to hate.
Absolutely.
But if you share it, it builds the team and strength of the commitment, accountability, and ultimately it's a group result that you can actually achieve a team outcome. That's
100%.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah. Again, that word is one of our core words in our team, being vulnerable to each other.
Yes.
We do it all the time. We've had huge arguments. Huge. It's led to massive fights that has spanned maybe even over a week.
Between three of you?
Between the three of us, between two of us sometimes. But you're right, because then you sit on it, and then you're thinking, and then you're fighting your own battle in your head, but you don't know what the other person's thinking. But then I guess after a week, one of us would make the move and like, look, can we talk? It's funny, right? We go on air, we act like we're the best of friends. We switch off the mic, we're not even looking at each other in the eye.
No.
And that's bad news.
You guys have that?
Yes, we.
You don't mind if I ask you like when was it?
Hey, it's called life confessions. We're confessing, isn't it? I mean, this is the reality of life. When you are the closest of friends, you will have the biggest of fights. But it's how you navigate around the fight.
Yes.
And that is the absolute truth. And our show, is three friends put together, being vulnerable on air. We bring our personal lives to the show all the time. Now, people always ask me this when I meet them on the streets, the listeners, they go like, hey, real or not? I said, you know what? I swear to God, it's 98% real. I say 98%. Reason being is, for example, if I had an argument with my wife, I would bring it on air, but I wouldn't say what we argued about because that's personal.
Yeah.
But I'd say, hey, look, I fought with her. I think she's being unreasonable. Malaysia, whose side are you on? But that creates the fun.
Wow.
Yeah. And we bring it. We really bring it. And our partners understand they have gotten married to radio people. And whatever that happens in the household is content. So, of course, that is also another big thing that we would discuss with our partners, our real partners. I mean, our life partners. Like, okay, can I talk about this on air? Most times they know we would bring it on air, but we would not cross the boundaries. Yeah.
So in your industry, we have these things called the show must go on, right?
Show must go on.
So it's like regardless, like whatever happens, you still have to show up.
Absolutely.
You still have to I don't want to use the word fake it till you can make it. It's just like you have to like act everything is cool.
Yeah.
Is there any significant moment that it was kind of like very tough to do it, but you guys have to do it?
I was afraid that you were going to ask me this question, and I really didn't want to answer it. But I think, yes, it was actually one of the toughest moments I had in my entire life. So I went through 3 tough moments. One was MH370. It was very difficult going on air, talking about it because this is home. The second one was MH17. So I thought, wow, I thought I had seen it all and, been through it. But the recent one was very, 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 very recent. It was when Aisha's brother passed away. It was the hardest moment of my life on radio. I remember I walked in. I'd come in late that day. I had woken up. I missed an alarm. So I walk in at 5:58, and it's still so vivid, right? I open the studio door, and I see my then partner, Rod, hugging Aisha, and she's crying. And me being the guy, I'm like, hey, morning, everybody. Okay, awkward. I'm like, what happened? And then Rod looks at me, and he does this, and I'm like, right? He signals to me, like, stop talking, and I'm like, and Aisha's bawling, and she's packing up. And I'm like, what happened? And then she says to me, my brother died.
This is Ashraf, right?
Yes, this is the late Ashraf. And my body shuts down, and I'm like, I don't know what to think. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it was the younger brother because, hey, why would you think of the older brother, right? Because, us young guys, we want to. And I'm like, is it Adam? She's like, no, it's Ashraf. And I'm like, I couldn't stop thinking. And I'm like, okay. I said, okay, guys, it's 2 minutes to live. Aisha, come with me. I pull her out. I said, Rod, go on air. I'm going to take Aisha with me downstairs. We need to get her out of here. So I pull Aisha downstairs. We go downstairs to the couch downstairs. I remember we sit down, and I'm like, okay, take a breather, start thinking. And she's obviously in a whole different, and her phone's ringing nonstop. Her mom's calling, her dad's calling. And then I try and help her, so I pick up my phone and I ring her husband. And coincidentally, that day, for some weird reason, her husband had dropped her at work. I don't know what was the arrangement. Her car was at the workshop or something, but I ring her husband. I said, you need to come back. He's like, yeah, bro, I'm on my way. Can you be with Aisha? I'm sure. So I'm sitting there with Aisha and I'm calming her down. I'm trying to at least. But at that point, I said, babe, just cry, babe. I'm here for you. Just let it out, yeah? Because after this, you're going to have to start. You've got so many things to do. You've got to get on a flight. Got to get your daughters. You've got to fly to Jakarta. You've got to organize your parents. The logistics was just a nightmare for her. So I remember it calmed her down to a certain bit, but you can't calm someone down who's just lost a family member. Anyway, and then so Aisha's husband comes back. I put her in the car. I go back up. And I remember this was about 6:40 in the morning. So we're on the phone with my boss. And I call my boss. I'm like, look, what do we do? Can we announce this? And my boss, being the gem of a guy that he is, he's like, look, normally I would say yes because, theoretically speaking, in the world of entertainment and news, you want to be the one that breaks news. Yep. But this is a family member we're talking about. So it comes down to ethics. It comes down to love. It comes down to trust. So my boss says to me, no, we're not breaking it. Ring Aisha, ask her if she's okay with it. I'm like, boss, we can't do that. Then he's like, yeah, obviously we can't. Try getting in touch with the family members. See if they are willing to give us that permission to say it. If not, we wait. We wait for Indonesia to break it. As soon as Indonesia breaks it, we go. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I think I text. Actually, you know what? I did not. I couldn't bring myself to texting any of the family members to say, can we break it? So I tell my partner, okay, look, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to sit in the computer. I'm just going to hit refresh. I was like, this was my finger the whole time. Tuck, 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 tuck. F5. F5 is for refresh, right? We're just keep on hitting refresh. And from 6:40 to 7:40, we had to be the happiest people on air because the show must go on. So we went on with our show. We were just doing our normal thing. We were laughing like, hey, because we are here for the listeners. The moment we switch off the mic, I don't know. Your feelings lost, I don't know if I wanted to cry. I don't know if I wanted to call Aisha. I don't know if I wanted to leave the studio. My partner and I were. It's that I hated that silence in the studio. I hated it so much. I still hear it till today. It haunts me to know that I can't be there with Aisha. What is going on with her? Is she okay? I don't know if I should call her to see if she got on the flight. This is one of your closest friends. Aisha and I have such a special bond. I want to know if she's okay. But I couldn't find out. And then I remember at 7:30 or 7:40-ish, I hit F5 and I saw poop on Google News. Some dodgy Indonesian blogspot. It was like, I don't know, drreza.blogspot.com. I'm just kidding, yeah. But it was not a solid website. It was not a credible website. It was a blogspot. But because I knew the fact that he had passed, so this is real, right? So I called my boss. I said, look, Indonesia's released it, but this is the only source. He's like, go. And that very moment, just like that, we switched everything. We switched the music. We never do this. We only switch the music when someone of dignitary dies, when someone passes on. If royalty passes, former leaders pass, then we would change the music to show respect. But this was our family.
Yeah.
And we switched the music to what we call a lower mood, solemn mood music. And from 7:40 all the way to 10 o'clock, all we spoke about was the late Ashraf. And we had to change our tone, and we had to work. We had to work the producers. Everyone's working their contacts. Like, okay, who do you know? Okay, who's getting on the flight? Can we call Sazi? Sazi's getting on the flight. Sazi just... So, and then it starts pouring on Instagram, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, I'm shocked. So we're all connected a way or another. So I called all the industry friends. I called Sazi Fala. I'm like, Sazi and Ashraf were best mates. So I ring Sazi, and then we start doing what we would do best, is like, hey, gathering stories about Ashraf. how he lived his life. So it became a tribute show. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Actually, don't kill me. Yeah.
So to finish things off, we have this very quick game called Final
I
Confession.
love games. This is like
Right,
radio final
so-
confessions. Let's go.
So I'm going to ask you some quick, fiery, random questions
Okay.
that you got to answer as fast as possible. So what is your go-to hype song?
You know, I don't have one song. It's funny. I just saw this. I just saw this meme that day. I love it. Gen Zers. I love Gen Zers. They come up with the best terms ever, and everything's got a label these days. Right? And I saw this one. It's called polygamorous.
Oh.
Right? Polygamorous. My Spotify list is bipolar. Like, I can be hearing to the hardest rap song, gangster, like, yeah, put 'em up, brah, brah, brah. And the very next song is Benson Boone. I swear. You got to take a look at my list, right? You look at my list and like, what's wrong with this guy? Even his playlist is ADHD. But yes, I don't have a hype song. I cannot tell you at this very moment.
Okay, so what's your favorite on-air moment?
Oh, wow. Are you ready for another story or what?
No. Just make it quick one.
Okay, quick one.
Just
Quick
make
one.
it quick.
Come on, man, I thought I had time. My utmost favorite moment on radio ever was when I met the legendary Wyclef Jean.
Oh.
Yeah. This was when I first started in the career. He changed the course of the way I did things. God bless you. He's still alive. Wyclef Jean. Yeah.
So what is your one word to describe your show?
The best. That's 2 words, but I don't care.
What is the top tip for keeping listeners engaged?
Honoring the reality. Honoring the reality, telling a story. It's always about telling and sharing a story.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's always on your desk?
I don't have a desk. Water.
So what is the secret to a great radio voice?
I don't know. Talk low. I think it's about projecting. Enunciating is important. Projecting, and knowing how to control your voice. Especially when it comes to intonation, when you're telling a story. When you're happy, show you're happy. When you're sad, show you're sad. When you're excited, show you're excited. You know, it's also about smiling. Some people think we tell this to the new announcers all the time. Smile, and they look at you like, "Why am I smiling?" I'm like, because the listeners can hear you smile.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's your must-have item for any road trip?
My phone and my charger.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all know that you love bike. So solo ride or with a group?
Oh wow, group 100%. Man, it's nothing like riding with a group.
The last question I want to ask you is that if you have a chance to become the Prime Minister of Malaysia
Here we go.
for
My moment to shine.
instantly,
Yes.
with all the power,
Yeah.
what would you change? What would you do with that?
First, I'd like to say that my future is going to be, my name will be rebranded to DSP. That's Dato Sri Prem. And my party will be called PSP, which is Parti Sampai Pagi. All right? Vote. You can see the crew. You can see the crew going, I am voting for this man.
We're all gonna vote for you.
Love it. The crew's reaction is what we should actually be recording. We need the behind the scenes camera. They're clapping, they're voting.
This is the moment everyone driving their car and they're like laughing.
This is the moment, Malaysia, listen. I am your future. If I could really be absolutely honest, I just want us all to be Malaysian. I drive that Malaysian spirit. As much as we all say we're Malaysian, unfortunately, I understand the fact that we're a nation with multi-cultures, multi-religion. We say we're Malaysian when we travel abroad. But when it comes here, we're like, oh, what are you? Are you Malay? You look mixed. What are you? Are you, and then you'd ask me what I am. Yes, I know it's trying to get to know the person, but deep down, core, we're all Malaysian. So if I can drive the fact, the Americans are always so proud to say they're American.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're Latino or Puerto Rican or whatever. They go like, I'm American, hey, say. I'm like, no, you don't sound American, bro. You sound like you're from, anyway. But the point is, if we can really just be one big, huge, loving country and not just gather together when it comes to fighting for food with other countries, when they mess with our food, when it comes to messing with our sports. I think I'd try and change that, to see if we can be one big, beautiful family. Multicolored family. I love it. At the end of the day, we all bleed the same color. We're all red inside, isn't it? Unless you're blue blood or whatever, you're a vampire. Yeah. But I think that's the first thing I would change. The mindset of us being divided. No, forget division. Let's be united.
Let's unite.
Yeah, I know this has been said to us, but it's still not there, unfortunately. Right, and that's a fact, isn't it? So, sebagai DSP daripada PSP.
All right. Okay, so thank you.
What's my party name before I go? Remember, what's my party name?
PSP.
What's it stand for?
Prem.
No, Party Sampai Pagi.
Oh, Party Sampai Pagi.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm known as DSP, which is Dato Sri Prem. Right. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Prem, for bringing joy to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So, guys, as we conclude this season, remember that living an in-control life, it is not an accidental process. It's very, very intentional. I hope we have shown you guys with our guests that we have this season and the previous season. So we reached to the final episode of this season. Let it be a big reminder of how to live an in-control life. So if you love what you do, if you love who you do it with, if you love who you do it for, and if you love how you do it, you can always live an in-control life and career. So till we meet again, take care. Bye-bye.